I've never done this before, but I'm about to try, first take Drake, to reverse engineer how my brain works the way it does. How did I get the mindset I have? Because I know for a fact that I was not born with it. I know for a fact that I didn't always have it. Thinking back, and there are remnants of unexplained confidence. I always knew that I wanted something different from what I was seeing. And when you have that, that increases your chances. And that leads me to my first point. The very first thing I ever understood about success and coming from where we come from and trying to get success is the best thing you can do is increase your chances. Now, as a child, I always liked math. I liked to read, I liked science, I was fascinated by history, but I always liked math because math, in theory, is absolute. So the first thing that I had to understand was percentage. How do we increase our chances? Now, when you think about percentage, my baseline is always, this is the pie, and this is 100%, right? That's 100%, right? Now, if you were born in a situation where the odds are against you, EBT, Section 8, low-income housing, you come from a place where a lot of people don't own homes, no one taught you credit, your parents aren't together, they're not married, you have multiple siblings in the home, just poverty. If you come from that, that's where I come from, that's where a lot of the people that I grew up with come from. Your chances are probably, I'm not gonna lie, between 0 and 5%. That's the chances that you start with to become successful. So you got a long ass way to get to 100%. And let's say 100% is being a millionaire. Okay. If that's the 100% and that's what you want to do. Now, here's the thing. I used to watch TV, Disney Channel and all this, right? And I would see people on the screen and I would appreciate what I'm watching, but I would always think about behind the screen. How did that person become an actor? You're 5 years old. How are you on TV? Where is that? That's across the world. Then I heard Hollywood and all that, right? I grew up watching American Idol with my mom. How the fuck did you get to this competition? I always thought, like, how is this possible? A lot of people watch TV and they just watching it, taking it for what it is. Oh, I can never act. It doesn't even cross their mind. But like, nah, bro, you can go act, right? I always had that. Now again, I don't know if that's something that I was born with or something that I collected along the way, but I always had that. So I had it in my mind, believed that it was attainable. That said too, you have to believe that it's even possible. Believe it's possible. Because if you don't, you're not going to be conscious of even trying to get to the 100%. If you don't believe it's possible, your shit is done. That don't even matter anymore. So you have to believe it's possible, right? Okay, boom. Once you believe it's possible, now it's like, okay, how can I increase my chances of that being me? Now, here's another concept that I learned along the way. I don't know where I heard it. This is not something I was inherently born with. I know for a fact, I remember I heard it. Whether it was a TV show, whether it was somebody, whether it was one of my coaches, because I grew up playing basketball, right? If you want to accomplish something, you are going to have to overcome obstacles, right? That is set the fuck in stone. There is no way around it. So maybe I learned it through basketball, right? Because I played on a basketball team and we had to work extra hard. We had to go to practices. We had to get on buses and drive across the country. We had to do all types of things that other people weren't doing. Not everybody was doing basketball, but we were. We were a tight-knit group, a minority group of people who had a like-minded goal, right? So, therefore, if we wanted to win a championship, we had to do things that other people weren't doing. So my coach would have us waking up at 5 a.m., doing 2-a-days in the gym. I understood the concept of if you want to get a different outcome, you have to do different things. That is so basic. And still, I've known grown adults who don't understand that, right? If you want to be different, so let's say this is the path. Everybody over here, nobody has nothing that they want in life. They're just going through life, letting days pass. And that's okay if that's what you choose. But the question is, are you choosing it? Are you consciously choosing that? And this video is for people who do not want to consciously choose that. So, boom, going with the path, boom. I realized, okay, I'm over here. That's me. If I want to increase my chances, I'm going to have to do things that other people are not doing. And then I made the correlation. Well, if these are the obstacles, right? And this is greatness. The further I get along this, the greater I become. Now here's the downside to this. You can get further than everybody you ever fucking met and still stop yourself short. And that's where a lot of you are. Greatness is all the way over here. And just because you got right here, nobody else went to college, nobody else got a decent job, nobody else in the family is an RN, nobody else figured out how to get a car, how to fix their credit. You right here. Good enough. That is still not the end goal. And to be honest, that shit doesn't even exist. Because the way my brain is wired, I don't give a fuck what I get. I'm never gonna stop. And I don't know if that's something I was born with or something that I collected along the way. But I'm trying to reverse engineer it for y'all. Because if you break it down, everything you do along this path is increasing your chances. Probably 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. And sometimes it's different for people. Because you might get right here and meet a girl. Here's her hair. Meet a girl. And that shit might set you back. All the way around. Because you done fucked up your confidence, you done fucked up your money, you done fucked up all types of shit, and now you gotta start all over. Which is okay. Starting over is okay. As long as you don't let this person, and it could be a person, it could be your attachment to a place, it could be your attachment to a vice. As long as you don't let this stop you, and you continue to do this, think of everything that tries to stop you as a fucking testament to how bad you want this shit. That's all you gotta do. This is how my brain works, literally, in numbers. And anytime that I feel like my shit is slowing down and I'm not getting where I want to get to fast enough, I make a huge ass 10x leap. That was my top surgery. I knew that was going to do numbers for my confidence. That was moving to LA. I knew that was going to do numbers for my opportunity and my productivity. And then now I'm in a whole different, I'm 10,000 miles away from where I'm from, in a whole different country. And that's doing numbers for my confidence, my productivity, everything. Because I'm working in alignment with the things that I want to achieve in life. And I'm not telling you that that's how it looks for you. It might look completely different for you. You might want to go to the military. You might want to start a business. You might want to start whatever success is to you. Right here was a millionaire. Right here is greatness. Whatever success is to you. One of my dreams is to be a father and to be a husband, right? But I also believe that I need to have this. I need to have bread, right? Because I don't want to recreate the cycle. I don't want a poor child. I want the odds of my child succeeding to be as high as possible, right? So that means I need to do my job so that I can be the best parent ever. Because the way my brain works is I can't unlearn this. So imagine if I'm not where I want to be and I try to have a child and start a family, I am going to project this onto my child instead of letting my child have a fair chance of making their own decisions because I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do. And that is what happens in our communities. That is exactly what happens in our communities. So to give my child the best chances, I need to be the best person I can be, the best parent I can be, right? Future child. And luckily I'm trained, so I can literally choose when I want to go and pay for IVF with my woman or however that looks in the future, right? Adoption, whatever. But I get to choose that. And to me, that's a blessing. Because if I was, this is a whole other conversation, but if I was born cis, I would have had 3 kids by now, and this would all be irrelevant. But I'm blessed. So anyways, my child, I want him to have the best, him, her, whatever, to have the best possible chances, right? So I need to become exactly who I know I can become in my head. Because again, once you learn this shit, there ain't no unlearning it. Once you realize and are self-aware that there are things you could be doing, but you're choosing comfort, you're choosing fear over taking a chance, you're not romanticizing your life, you're not disassociating and making sure you're getting shit done, that's when you lower your chances and you become just like everybody else. And this is okay because we need them for there to be a us, right? Got to. This is okay. But if you're in that, know that you're choosing that. You're choosing that, okay?